Yo, back with another post-trade analysis. Took a trade on Bitcoin recently, and it's going to be going over it real quick. It's a pretty simple process here. So what happened was we had, just going over the higher time frame context real quick. I can even zoom out a little more just because. So we had this macro distribution type thing right here. Just distributive price action in general, not your textbook distribution, but it was enough to confirm, on this break with this redistribution, a rotation all the way back down to this range low, and that could likely see some continuation based on the aggressiveness of the moves with the supply creations and those fast moves down. Okay, so that's the environment that we are in. We got a distribution that was in that semi-counter environment because you just got this aggressive expansion down, and this is your first market structure pull up that you're distributing. And then after that distribution, you start to see, you can use that as exhaustion because since it failed for a new range creation that we got here. Just like this. So then you also then confirmed a distribution on Bitcoin. Again, not the prettiest distribution, but we are using it as a confirmed order flow objective here. Somewhat like this, but the trade we actually took was inside of here, and it was a loss. But we just got that aggressive move up on the monthly open. So we can actually go and check out this monthly candle real quick. So you can see this monthly candle has no wick to the downside. It just popped up on the open. So that could definitely be some monthly open manipulation there. What you're going to have to see. But then again, this model on Bitcoin isn't super clean. And this tap is a bit extended, but it can be used. Say we get, some harsh rejections here. Something like this. It's actually going to look kind of clean. It's actually going to look kind of clean from a distribution perspective. You can see the overall topping out formation. But we're just going to have to see if that is what price intends to do here. So if we start seeing some, exhaustion to the downside, we could get a rotation up. But that isn't really the point of this video. We're not pre-planning for the future. We're just looking at this trade that I recently took right here. So on the way down on Bitcoin, we were getting supply mitigation after supply mitigation. Boom, right there. Then, mitigated supply, created new supply. Then again, mitigated supply and created new supply here. And we also created this supply POI as well. So we front ran this low. Still some nice liquidity below us within this distribution range. So we are trading within a pro environment because we have a confirmed order flow objective of coming to this range low prior to exceeding this high, which can always, get invalidated, but that is the order flow objective that we're trading in. And then price got to pull back up right here, got this fake break that created this range right here. So locally, this is in a semi-counter environment because this is the first pull up. If you want to draw your market structure, this is the first pull up after an extended move to the downside. So that's your first pull up that you pulled your range from high to low. First market structure pull up after this, entire move to the downside. Although you are coming into some supply here, and you do have a confirmed order flow objective. So you're pro on the mid time frame, and you are semi-counter on the low time frame. So I first entered this trade on Bitcoin upon this tap right here. You can see we had deviation 1 and then tap 3, and USDT actually swept the high here. Swept the high there. So, we had a model 1 on USDT, which was nice confluence there. And then we broke structure inside of here. Gonna zoom in, maybe even back it up just to make it easier. We got this clean break of structure here. Entered on that. Ended on that, targeting the low for a 4RR. Double checking whether it was 2-minute structure as well. Let's see. No, it's just that 1-minute structure. Okay, so that was the entry there. You can see we had return to zone, building to the breaker structure. We had about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish primary liquidity points. Although this was a lower time frame range, it's a 13-hour range. It was also your daily range, which makes it still valid to trade, although it is below the minimum range duration. It's just a scalp. So you have your Asia high, London, and then New York here. So you've basically just been creating this distribution since the daily open, which was right here. So yeah, you got the daily range there. That was the initial entry, and then I refined the entry upon this sweep and this 2-minute breaker structure here. Kind of like had like a topping formation in combination with that 2-minute breaker structure during after hours. So it's always a bit sketchier to enter a trade during after hours, especially when you're approaching either a weekly or a monthly open. So this was the monthly open, which was something I actually didn't realize at the time. For some reason, I thought we had another day of April. I thought we were one day away, but I was mistaken. April only has 30 days. So that was after hours right before that monthly open right here. So you can see that price, was consolidating below that break, wasn't getting some aggressive follow through just yet, approaching that monthly open. So all of these couple of highs that are building up can easily get swept if you get some volatility, even if you are intended to complete the model, if you get some volatility on that monthly open, which, as you can see, we did not get any confirmations for a model 1 there on the monthly open. If I leave replay mode, you'll see we just expanded higher, which you probably already saw that. So you end up expanding higher on that monthly open. So whether this move is manipulation or not, we're just going to have to see. We are starting to see some sells, but that is not the focus here. So yeah, that was the trade there. And then this was, about like a 6, I think, or like a 5.5 RR there. Like a 6.5, yeah, something like that. Right there on that 2-minute break. That confirmed right here. 5.79 there. And I just, trailed my stop loss and added back risk to make it a 1% risk trade there. And that was the overall trade. Ended up failing. So I definitely have noticed that, entering those, and even this just, adds conviction to that idea that entering on those after hours break of structures prior to a weekly or monthly open can be very risky, and has I've definitely seen these fail lots of times, even if it is failing just to go over into a model 1. So that was kind of like the risk I was willing to take, is that, okay, maybe this fails and goes into a model 1 here. It is high probability enough and has very high RR potential. It could rotate all the way down to this low and even lower. So for me, it was worthy of the risk. And yeah, I've seen it work a couple times where you do get those after, maybe like 2 times seen it work where you do get those after hours entries that end up playing out. Maybe more times than that, just 2 that come like instantly to my mind though. But I've also, seen it fail like 4 or 5, maybe more times. So yeah, you really want to trade high quality confirmations within that context, because maybe that monthly open, instead of wanting to surge up, maybe it just surged down, So if you already were getting some aggressive follow through, maybe the monthly would just, grab some liquidity and then continue that move down. You never know. But if the intended move is to the downside, one thing I've been noticing, if the intended move is to be to the downside, oftentimes those weekly opens, they'll sweep up to manipulate up prior and then put in that weekly high prior to going down. And put in that weekly high, like a Monday or a Tuesday. And for the monthly, I'm not as familiar with the data there. But I know monthly pivots can be formed, within the first few days. So yeah, that is the trade overall on Bitcoin. Short and sweet. Thank you guys for watching. If you got any questions, let me know.